Alright, so I'm sitting here in the aircraft, and you can see it's a drag axis. You can see that line, and I'm feeling a buzz the entire time, even when I hold it steady right here. And that annoying line is there, so we're going to go ahead and change it to a drag rotate. So, first thing I'm going to do is minimize X-plane, and I'll open the cockpit OBJ in Notepad++. And I'm going to do a search for the collective, which is usually, yep, that's it right there, prop pitch degrees. Okay, I'm going to take this drag axis line, I'm going to comment it out with a pound sign, and I'm just going to type in ATTR manip drag rotates. Now I haven't done this previously before I'm making this video, so I'm doing all this on the fly. And I'm going to make hand as the cursor instead of up down, because we'll be doing it with our VR controllers. So what I want to do is I want to find just above it the animation codes, and this is the translation right here. That's the translation X, Y, and Z. And those are the first three numbers we'll use. So I'll just copy and I'll paste those. So X, Y, and Z on the translation. And the next thing is the rotation X, Y, and Z, which is going to be 1, 0, and 0 according to the numbers here. And sometimes it doesn't quite work according to the numbers, but let's just try it. And then the next thing is these three numbers right here. So it's actually angle 1, which is 0, angle 2, which is 15, and then a lift number. And a lift has to do with a secondary data ref that you can include in your drag rotate that allows you to sort of lift away from the manipulator and go into a second set of things. So think like reverse throttle. So you go back to the reverse throttle from like 1 to 0, and then if you wanted to get into the negative numbers, it would stop you at 0 and you would have to lift, and that would send you into the secondary reverse data ref, and then you can go back a little bit more. So it's like a stop pit for like a second data ref section if you wanted that. But for this one we don't have that. We're just at a 0 lift because we're not actually using a second data ref. And then you want to put your data ref ranges for your first and second data ref. Well, we're only using one, so let's go ahead and put our data ref range for our first one, which is -4 to 11. And then the second data ref we're not using, so I'll just 0 and 0 that. And then you put your actual data ref name there. So the first data ref is that one, of course. And the second data ref is not there, so I'm just going to type none, right? So there we have it. We got the translational X, Y, and Z, the translational or the rotational X, Y, and Z, and then you got angle 1, which is almost always 0, angle 2, which is 15, and I got that number from right there, and angle 3, which is lift, which is nothing because we're not using a second data ref, and then our first values, our second values, our first data ref name, and our second data ref name. And then that's it. And so this 15 here is actually the speed with which that manipulator will follow your hands with the VR controllers when you grab it. The further away from 0 this number is, the slower your manipulator will be. So if you lift it and it looks like it's jumping up too quick, then you'll want to raise that number away from 0. If it's too slow, you'll lower that number closer to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and save this and jump back into the sim. And then I'm going to reload the aircraft, and it takes about probably 30 seconds, and then I'll test it and see where we're at. Let me close this guy, reposition, grab the manipulator, and it drags. And actually, I'm going to turn down the RPM so that it doesn't actually want to take off. And I'll pull it up, and look, it's following my hand really well right there, all the way up, all the way down. And if I hold it still, there's no vibration. If I pull it up slow, there's just a little vibration. If I push it down fast, there's a lot of vibration, but only when it's traveling. So, and at the top of the lift and the bottom, you feel a nice little clunk to know that you've reached the top and you've reached the bottom. And that's it. That's how you change an axis to a drag rotate. And you notice that crazy line isn't there anymore, and it just looks and feels and acts so much better. Thanks.